When you go to vote for Tom on Wednesday, after that, you'll support me in the general election. I'm getting to it. I'm having too much fun now. Lieutenant Governor scope in South Carolina when I took over at the age of 32 was to run the South Carolina Senate. And under those duties, when the Republican leadership tried to raise your taxes, $2 billion worth every single time, I fought my own leadership and ruled it out of order. Not once did I miss. They tried to raise the taxes on your fishing license, your hunting license. They wanted to go for 5% of when you bought a car. So instead of paying $300, you would have paid, if you bought a $50,000 car, you'd have paid $2,500. Would have been 5%. I ruled it out of order. It was 5 or 6 years in a row, every single time. So that was my job as Lieutenant Governor. But you know, after I was there a year, I ran on, and I said, look, I'm a young man. I can take on a lot more jobs than this part-time job. Give me something else. My grandparents had been such an intricate part of my life that they offered me the Office on Aging. A year trial basis. After a year, the governor and the legislature made it permanent because it was so successful. So the scope of my job, this part-time job that I didn't even take all the pay for, it paid $40,000 a year, turned part of the pay down, was to take care of seniors upon that job I asked, and it was to take care of the South Carolina Senate, which I did. My job was not to go out and try to create jobs. That's the governor of South Carolina. They have a whole economic development team. However, anytime they asked me to go, I didn't even let them pay the bill. I went on my own dime. When they asked me to go see Nanyang Plastics, who's in Florence County, I went on my own dime and met those folks and begged them to employ more people in the district. And guess what? They're employing more people than when I went. When Nucor Steel in the district was losing jobs because of Turkish steel being subsidized by the Turkish government and flooding our markets, I went up on my own dime to Washington and appeared before the United States Supreme Court. So when I have been called upon by my state, every single time I did things to help create jobs. Every time I was asked. Now, on this $40,000 a year job, they didn't give me a scope of an economic development team, or which I think Tom's got $1.8 million, and we created 10 jobs. Go look at Ranch Stand Daily. They wrote an article on it day before yesterday. We kept hearing about 300 jobs. Thank goodness somebody in the media did their due diligence. You've got $1.8 million. You've got 10 jobs. We've heard Abcraft about all these jobs. They promised for years. They've taken our money and they didn't deliver. Do you want to keep giving them more money? They're using our airport hangars for almost nothing.
No.
We can go look at the parking lot. See how many license plates have South Carolina tags on them. Thank you, Dick. Very few. So these are the jobs that we're creating. They're taking people that work for them somewhere else, they're bringing them into our state, and they're calling that a job creation. That is a bold-faced, that is despicable that we have people using tax dollars for that kind of stuff. I don't agree with it. It bothers me, but that is the answer to your question. Yes, sir.
The last question, to some extent, we talked about effectiveness of these economic development boards. Do you believe that fundamentally we should even have public money going to economic development boards, or is that should be purely up to private?
Johnny, that is a phenomenal question. And one could say that we ought to just lower taxes and make it a more attractive state to do business. And that, first and foremost, you lower taxes, you get rid of some of this government regulation, and we got it right here in this county, awful bad. You don't believe it, look at some of the policies we have. Look at flow control. You ask businesses if they're worried about coming and investing in this community. Robert, you came to me and told me you had a big business that wanted to come locate in downtown Myrtle Beach. You and I had a discussion over it. And it was going to create hundreds of jobs. But the leadership didn't want to help you get it here. Matter of fact, not only did they not want to help you, they ran it off because of the water and sewer issue. So I'd say first and foremost, we need to make sure that we do all we can to reach out as a good neighbor and somebody that wants their business. Look, we've done a great job reaching out to so many of you. You weren't born here just like me, but you decided the quality of life here was second to none. You decided that you wanted to move here. And so we are the biggest county. This county here is the biggest county in the state of South Carolina for in-migration. How many of you weren't born here? Okay.
Carpetbagger.
I got bad news for you folks. You're all carpetbaggers. Welcome to the club. I'm the first carpetbagger of history to move from Charleston to Myrtle Beach because I wanted to be here. And so, folks, it needs to be about issues. You can live anywhere and do a bad job, or you can live anywhere and do a good job. I bought a house here before I was out of being lieutenant governor because I saw opportunity here, so much so that I invested in the Speedway. So much so that Robert saw me in a hot warehouse for months getting rid of furniture, that I bought a furniture company out. You witnessed it too, Susie. I was there in a t-shirt flipping those rugs as hard as I could go. Sure, I won't finish. Go ahead.
I had a question that was called into me.
Okay.
But I'm going to read that last because that should be addressed to Randall Wallace, who's representing Tom Rice, and that's the question. My question to you is about, what were you saying on television last night with respect to Afghanistan? Are you saying that we should not have gone into Afghanistan when 9/11 occurred? Are you saying that Bush was wrong? What are you trying to say when you say that we should not have been in Afghanistan? Would you mind explaining that a little bit further?
Sure. My thought is that we need to go in tactically, go in, do the mission, and then get out, much like we did with Osama bin Laden. And so I don't want to see us stay there for a prolonged period of time. I want to do the mission and then get out. And I worry about staying too many places too long. I tell you what else. I don't think that we should allow any media anywhere we are jeopardizing American lives. I think it is deplorable that we give our enemy so much information with our media. I think they should be out of it.
Wouldn't you take the advice of the commanders on ground there that are there daily and know the situation? Wouldn't you take that into consideration?
I'll tell you what I
Or would
do.
you just dismiss that?
No, I wouldn't dismiss it at all. They know better than elected leaders what the best form of action is. And too often, politics play a part instead of making sure that the mission is carried out fully. And so, I tell you what else I do is, as I lean on my good friend Catherine Ginrette, who knows a whole lot more about the military than I do. I brought back up.
Well, look, Randall, this was called in to me by a lady in Lawrence that knows me from Save Our Cats, and she knew I was here today. And she wanted to ask Tom if he was here today, but I guess you're representing him. And her question is, why is Rice running for another elected office when the job he's doing now in Horry County is half done?
Come up front.
Shut up front, man.
Yeah, come
Randall,
up front.
Randall, look at your beautiful face, Randall.
Well, you still
Come on, Randall.
It's up to the moderator.
Randall,
He laid the groundwork down to me.
I did. I did. And please keep yourself in order. Please sit down. Randall, come on up.
I am sitting down.
I'm talking to Joanne. Joanne's gonna.
He's on my case today.
He's on.
He's on my case today.
Randall, answer the question.
Just so everybody knows.
Okay. What happened here is originally, I'm sure all of you have read all the emails, all the stuff on Facebook, all the stuff in the newspaper, only half of it. Randall agreed to step in for Tom when he said he would not be able to debate. So, I don't know if it would be really a great idea or not for Randall to debate Andre. We've already heard that.
Tom, let's say that Randall can
Let him
answer.
do it, right, okay. But we've already gone down that road in a couple of debates. So, if you have a specific question for Tom, Randall will be able to answer such. So, you have the floor. Mr. Wallace.
I want to fire I told before because Tom was here. Like I said, I don't know that I can. And he said, he put the question about why. My understanding from Tom is that, the job did not exist when he ran for chairman of the county council. He came on board. He's done, I think, a very good job on the economic development front for the county. And a lot of folks involved with economic development thought he would be a good candidate for Congress. They came and talked to him about it. And after a lot of prayer or whatever with his wife Lindsay, they decided to move up and step up to the plate and run for Congress. And I think that's basically the answer that he has given.
John, I will say you're incorrect, it didn't half, it's 25%, you only did 25%.
That's not my question, that's the lady.
Okay, lady from the thing, but also,